Carson Macedo's offseason plans are dashed after it's revealed he's injured. We'll talk about that. Plus, Rico Abreu talks Chili Bowl. Ian Madsen is back in a sprint car. Plus, news in central Pennsylvania and with USAC. Let's go. It's Tuesday, December 17th. I'm Justin Fiedler. This is DIRTRACKR Daily presented by Kubota Genuine Parts. At the moment, the YouTube channel is 477 subscribers away from 38,000 total. And what's interesting is that over the last 28 days, we've had well north of 6 figures in terms of unique show viewers. That means that a lot of you watching this show right now on YouTube do not subscribe. Subscribing on YouTube and the podcast platforms is free to do and will always be that way. So hit the button, hit the notification bell, make sure you never miss a future episode. Full video episodes are also posted daily to Facebook and Spotify if you want to find them there as well. You can also read show transcripts over at dirttracker.com/daily. So if you're not sure about something I said or whatever, you can always just go read the transcripts over there as well. There was tough news last night that came out of Australia with Dyson Motorsport announcing that sprint car driver Carson Macedo will now miss the entirety of their winter sprint car schedule down under. Macedo is apparently injured and will take the time off to recover so that he's ready in time for the start of the World of Outlaws sprint car season in February. The original plan was for Macedo to run something like 15 times with Dyson from December 14th through January 26th. And that included the high limit races at Perth and the Grand Annual Sprint Car Classic at Premier. If you don't know the Grand Annual Sprint Car Classic, sort of like the Australia Knoxville Nationals. There were also some scattered midget starts planned in there as well. And Toby over at Sprint Car Hub reported via Facebook that Macedo injured his leg away from the racetrack, which is basically the only information we have at the moment as to what happened. It is not uncommon for the American drivers that go down under to kind of also treat the trip as a vacation, so it's possible that other activities and adventures are on these drivers' schedules, and maybe something along those lines is what happened to Macedo. There was no indication from Dyson that they will try and replace Macedo for those races, and the other American drivers that are in Australia, they all have rides already lined up. You don't go to Australia unless you've got a sprint car ride lined up. And I've seen people saying that Cole Macedo should replace him, but Cole's already got races lined up with Trent Pigden's team. Those high limit races at Perth aren't until after Christmas. They're going to run December 28th through the 30th. Hopefully Macedo will be ready to go come Dirt Car Nationals in February. We'll obviously keep you posted as we hear more about this situation. Another American driver down under this winter is Rico Abreu. He's got those high limit races on his schedule as well, and then some action in January. As we've watched a lot of the main players from the last 10 or so years come back to the Chili Bowl after taking years off, and that includes Kyle Larson and Christopher Bell, Rico was the only event winner since 2015 we didn't know a status for. And there were no rumblings or rumors of some sort of return for him, but the questions were still floating around out there anyway. The schedule I've seen for Rico has him in Australia well into January, so it didn't seem realistic that he would be back in time to race in Tulsa. And then back on Sunday, in a video posted to Facebook for a contest that he was running, he did share that he is not racing Chili Bowl in January. This will be the second straight year of no Chili Bowl for the two-time event winner. It seems highly likely that Rico will race in Australia through January, and then we probably won't see him again until the high limit opener at Las Vegas in March. He did run Dirt Car Nationals at Volusia with the Outlaws in 2024, but it was his first trip there since 2018. And I think it's important to remember that it coincided with the high limit schedule in Florida and Georgia. With that part of the schedule not returning for high limit for 2025, I doubt we see Rico make the Florida tow for the Outlaw opener. And if you're curious on Chili Bowl Tulsa Shootout, the track build started this week inside the Expo Center. We're currently sitting at 308 Chili Bowl entries with 1,658 entries for Shootout. You can find videos and photos of the build going on the Chili Bowl and Tulsa Shootout social media accounts. Still a lot of TBAs on that Chili Bowl list. No Keith Coons entries yet either, so still plenty of time to go and a lot of time for that list to continue growing. Did you guys see that Ian Madsen is back racing sprint cars again? The 2018 World of Outlaws Rookie of the Year announced in November of 2023 that he was hanging up his helmet after a 20-year career, but he's popped back up again recently, making some sprint car starts at Sydney International Speedway in Australia. He hadn't competed, at least in the US, since some IRA starts in September of 2023. He ran races, though, at Sydney in October and November, and then finished second this past weekend to Michael Stewart in a race that also featured Linton Jeffrey, Jesse Attard, and Matthew Dumsney. Madsen has been driving the N49 sprint car for Jamie Matherson, and that team had planned a sizable schedule between Sydney and Warrnambool, Toowoomba, Borderline, and Murray Bridge. Towards the end in 2023, Madsen had bounced around to a few different rides, and he dealt with some injuries, but his run over the weekend showed he's still got plenty of speed left. Looking at some sprint car silly season moves, after initially deciding to close up shop, team owner Scott Cowman has reversed course and will continue to field a sprint car in central Pennsylvania. He'd parted ways with driver Dylan Cisney earlier this year, but Jeremy Elliott reported yesterday at SprintCarLimited.com that Cowman will field a car 25 times next year, for Gerard McIntyre. They're going to split time between Port Royal and Selinsgrove, I think, and McIntyre will fill in the remainder of his schedule with the 33 team that he's been driving for. In 2024, McIntyre raced 25 times, mostly at Port, with a best finish of second there in July. He's got a pair of all-star wins on his resume, but he hasn't won a 410 sprint car show since 2022. Cisney ended up finishing the year with Bill Rose on tour with the Outlaws, but as of right now, I don't think he's got settled plans for next season. He won at Port in the spring and has 11 410 sprint car wins over the past 6 seasons. His best run with Rose down the stretch was an 11th place finish at Route 66 with the Outlaws. On the non-wing side, Briggs Danner is set to tackle the full USAC National Sprint Car season next year in the Hogue 39. The young Pennsylvania driver made 29 appearances with the National Series in 2024, picking up his first 3 career wins along with 19 top 10s. His first score came at Grandview in June. That shouldn't be surprising, a Pennsylvania driver winning in Pennsylvania. But he followed that up with victories at Bloomington and Lawrenceburg later in the year. With Dazen Pursley and Brady Bacon departing, there will be added opportunity with this series next year, and Danner will certainly be one poised to take advantage. Danner also set to run Chili Bowl next month with Alex Bowman's team, and he's a driver I've hit on a few times on the show. He's not afraid to race literally anything, anywhere. His 2024 schedule included winged 410 starts, 360 races, non-wing USAC East Coast, non-wing micros, midgets, Silver Crown, and even speedsters. Some other drivers we know right now who have national sprint car plans for next year include Logan Seavey. He's going to be back with Abacus Racing to defend that championship, and Jake Swanson with the new Daming Swanson team. The USAC season doesn't start here for a little while, so still plenty more time for drivers to figure out their situations and to make announcements. All right, that's the show for today. If you want even more content, head over to DIRTRACKR.com. You can find the latest news from around the sport, plus the analytics section, the daily streaming schedule, and more. You can add it to your regular trips daily around the interwebs. Hope you guys have a great Tuesday out there. We'll see you right back here tomorrow.